All right, cool. We're live. Can you see it on your end that we're live as well?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, there is nobody on right now, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my little spiel. So if you're watching the replay on this, please put, I don't know, we'll just say like hashtag replay down in the description just so we know that you're watching the replay. But today I'm really, really excited because we are doing another live stream. Last night's went so good. Clay and I were chit-chatting and he was going to be a guest on the podcast. And so I just randomly was like, hey, do you mind doing like a live stream? And he's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So thank you, Clay. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm excited. So how was your day? What's been up? What's going on?
Oh, just the day to day for me. Early wake up call, wake up around 4 or so and work on some big stuff, like stuff that actually moves the ball forward. And then by about 9 or 10, it's like the rest of the day is just putting out fires, hopping on calls, and doing the stuff that is working in the business but not on the business. So yeah.
Right. So actually I got a question because
hmm
we when I say we as a household, we all woke up late today. Like
hmm
my oldest son, he was almost late for work. The kids were almost late for
hmm
school. And so do you normally wake up at 4 a.m.? Are you trained to do that?
Yeah, I do. So I think we've talked about our Whoop before, but
Mm-hmm.
I've been pretty adamant about tracking my sleep since college, and so Whoop gives you your average like wake up and go to bed time. And I think my average time that I go to sleep is around like 9:10 or 9:15, and my average time where I wake up is about 4:45 to 5-ish because that includes the weekends. And the weekends I normally sleep until 6 or 7 or 8, depending on how late I was up the night before. But yeah, I'd say like that's my average over the last couple of years. So I try to get in bed early. That's the only key to waking up early. It's just getting in bed early.
And it's so tough now, especially because it's still kind of daylight out. So how like what are you
Yeah,
doing? Because I tell myself, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go lay down. And then I just lay there. And that next thing I know, it's
yeah.
like 11, 12 o'clock. And I'm like, girl, you gotta be up soon. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty fried by the end of the day most times, and so that helps. Blackout curtains help, and then
Mm-hmm.
I do blue light blocking glasses, but to be honest with you, I've never had issues falling asleep like ever in my life. So I feel like I'm just one of those people that are like relatively gifted in the sense that like I know some people have a lot harder time falling asleep than others. One tip I will give to people is that all the people that I know that struggle to fall asleep also spend a lot of time in their bed when they shouldn't be like trying to sleep, when they're not like they're just watching TV in their bed or whatever. So one thing that I do is I almost never get in my bed unless I'm going to sleep. So like when I get in bed, my body's like, oh yeah, it's time to go to sleep. So that's one little tidbit.
That's interesting. Recently I actually moved my office out of the bedroom because I had like this
hmm
podcast bedroom studio. And so
hmm
now having the divide, and so I have noticed that when I go into the bedroom, it's more of like a relaxing type vibe instead of like high stress. Cause I would look at my desk and be like, oh, all those post-it notes. I can't
Yeah.
handle it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no more hopping out of bed and checking my laptop. Cause like I would do that.
Yeah.
My husband would see like the little light turn on and he'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
gotta check it really quick. And he's like, lay down.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Well, cool. I'm glad that you get a lot of sleep. 2 thumbs up for that. All right. So
Preach.
for the there's nobody that's on right now, which it's okay because it's like the middle of the day. What I want you
Mhm.
to do is for the people that are watching the playback, give us like who are you? Give us your highlight reel. What's going on with you?
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Clay Lawrence. I'm the owner and founder of Review Harvest. I'm based in Florida, so the Panhandle of Florida. Been here last 12, 13 years. I guess my very quick highlight reel is like in high school, I started doing marketing for local businesses. Anybody who would sit down and have coffee with me, I would ask them what they wanted me to do, and I'd do it pretty much free. And I did that from like high school, end of high school, with a couple people, not super serious about it. But then college, I like got really intense about meeting with lots of business owners in Gainesville. I went to the University of Florida, graduated in 2 years, and by the time I was done, by the time I graduated, I was able to go full time on my marketing agency. And after about a year of doing my marketing agency full time after college, I had a decent amount of clients, but I was doing lots of different things and just very scattered for whatever. And so like they all love my Google review system. So I was like, hey, I will just do my Google review system for everybody. And that's kind of how Review Harvest was formed. And from there, that was probably about 10 or 11 months ago when I made that switch. And I said, hey, I'm just gonna do Google reviews for people. That's it. And that has been nice, giving me clarity, helped me get a lot better at getting people Google reviews, and yeah, it's made my life a lot easier. So that's kind of the highlight reel.
I'm glad that you have some clarity. Like, can we kind of dive into that a little bit more of the importance of clarity? Because I think a lot of business owners maybe struggle with that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. So like one of the things that I really struggled with, and I tell people all the time on calls, I'm like, if I knew how local business owners thought about like marketing or marketing agencies or just the word marketing, like people, outside of their own business, I would have never got into marketing, right? Because most business owners, especially most local business owners, have been burned by an agency or by another marketing company or by a software, whatever it is. And so they have either like been legitimately burned, like said they were going to get something and didn't get it, or in their head and their idea, like they think they were burned, but the expectations just weren't set properly by the agency or by the company, whatever, right? So there's a balance there between like it's not always the agency, it's not always the business. Some people legitimately just get scammed, and other people, just have improper expectations. And so one thing with when I was doing the agency was like I think I have a lot of doubt because I'm a very skeptical person. I feel like I'm very logical. Like I want to make sure everything makes sense for everybody, right? And so when I was doing the agency and I was doing so many different things, whether it was ads, SEO, websites, reviews, whatever it is, like when I went to bed every night, it was getting hard to look in the mirror and be like, okay, every single person that's paying me this month is getting a great return on investment. Like they are definitely getting their money's worth and beyond. And so like it was hard at the end of the day for me to look myself in the mirror and be like, feel like I'm this client slipping and I need to do extra work here. And then I do extra work there. And then another client starts slipping. And it felt like I could never kind of get ahead. And I was doing so many different things that I wasn't able to do a great job for everybody. And so when I focused on Google reviews, like I'm just going to do Google reviews and I'm going to do the best job to get everyone the most amount of reviews that they can get for their business and just get really good at that. And now I can look at myself in the mirror happily knowing that I can guarantee I give everybody the best chance to get Google reviews, and I can guarantee that if they don't get reviews, I'll just give them the money back. I could care less, right? But yeah, so that's kind of the clarity, like being able to look myself in the mirror and like, hey, I know that I'm doing the best I can and giving these business owners an amazing chance to get a lot of reviews. It makes it a lot easier and it gives me a lot of clarity. Just like more reviews, just make it more, better, nothing new, just more and better on the reviews.
Well, what's cool about that too is it's factual data. Like you can see, okay, when this person started with me, they had, I don't know, 50 reviews. Now by this benchmark, they have 100 or 125. So you can see. So there's no more guessing. It's like, am I doing a
Yeah.
good job? Am I not? Because you can see if you are or not.
Yeah, exactly. It's very black and white, which I
Yeah.
love. I wish everything was black and white, but it's very black and white. It's like, I told you I was gonna get more reviews. You either got more reviews or you didn't. And if you didn't, no worries. I'll just give you your money back.
Which you helped me out. I got a ton of reviews. I wish I would have screenshotted how many I had before we started. Can
I
you
have the
look?
screenshot for you. Yeah, I have the
You pull
screenshot. I think it was like I think it was like 270 or 280-ish. And now I think you have 374.
so you
A couple months.
almost 100?
Yeah, I
That's
think
huge.
almost 100. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about how important it is to get Google reviews.
Yeah. Oh man. What I tell people, I mean, I could go on for days and days about this, and luckily, like it's catching up. Business owners are getting the gist, like, hey, yeah, this is very important. But what I tell people about Google reviews is like they make everything you do as a business owner more profitable. They make everything you do more profitable because when people hear about you from a friend, what do? They look you up on Google and they see your reviews. When people see you on a yard sign, what do? They look you up on Google and they see your reviews, right? When you start running local service ads or Google ads, what do? They see your reviews. And if you have more reviews than competitors, they're going to convert more, right? So what these reviews are doing is they're doing two things. In marketing, when we're talking about marketing and gaining customers, we need eyeballs, we need more attention, and we need to figure out a way to convert those eyeballs into dollars, right? So we're talking about more attention, more awareness, and higher conversion rates, right? And so the great thing about reviews is they do both. So when you're getting more reviews, you're going to rank higher on Google for your main keywords, right? If you have the most reviews, if you have 100 more reviews than your competitors, it's going to give you a big leg up in that section of the ranking on Google and give you a much better chance of ranking high. And so you're going to get more awareness, more eyeballs on your business because of all the additional reviews. And then also you're going to do a better job of converting all those eyeballs that are on your business because of those reviews. And so, yeah, no, it's very important.
It is, and, when I first started, so I couldn't afford automation, okay? We'll just be
Mhm,
super transparent. I was like a broke business owner, basically had
mhm,
$1,000 to get everything started, and so I, invested my money where I needed to, but the issue was it was very manual. So when I got started,
mhm.
I would complete the service, and then I had a copy and paste message with my Google link that I would literally send to every single person, and then
Yeah.
I would have to follow up with them, and I was very diligent to try to get at least 20 reviews because I knew that that was, like, super, super important.
Mhm.
Now, moving forward, on a larger scale, it's really hard to do that manually, and so
Yeah.
that's what I loved about Review Harvest is you have a lot of automation. So can we talk a little bit about how things work at
Yeah.
Review Harvest?
Yeah, no, for sure. So our goal is always to integrate directly into whatever systems people are using, whether it's Jobber, whether it's Sweep and Go, whether it's House Call Pro, Service Titan, whatever people are using. I think probably most poop scoopers are on Jobber or Sweep and Go, right? Are there any other ones I'm missing?
Mm, Yard Book. I
Yard
think,
Book, yeah,
some
yeah.
people
So
use Yard Book too.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, we do our best to integrate with those like Yardbook, Sweep and Go, and Jobber. We can all integrate with so that anytime you're getting paid, anytime you're completing a job, marking a job as done, we're sending out the review request automatically for you, right? So it's nothing you have to do, no manual work, no copy and paste, no saving your Google review link or script in your Notes app, right? And so we request the reviews for you automatically. And the cool thing that we're able to do, so we're able to send out a personalized image. And so what that looks like for Erica, it's a photo of Erica holding her computer, kind of, I think, like in a yard, and it auto populates her end customer's name on that computer, right? So let's say she went and, cleaned up Jessica's yard, right? And so an hour, 2 hours after the service, however extra hours you want to do with poop scoopers, we like to wait until like 3 or 4, like later in the day, so people, or maybe even the next day, so people can see that their yard is clean, right? So if they're at work and they're just, their yard just got scooped and they already get a request to leave a review, they might not, how'd they do, right? They don't know yet, right? So you can either wait till afternoon or wait till the next day so they make sure they can experience it. But Jessica will get a photo via text and email with her name on that image. So Jessica's name is auto-populated on, Erica's computer, so that it really gets her attention, really sticks out. And then also, kind of one thing we do to differentiate ourselves is we donate a meal to Feeding America for every single customer. For every single review we get our customers. So it's nothing Erica has to pay for, track, or manage. We do all that on our end, and it's just an offer that we extend to y'all so y'all can get more reviews. So that's kind of the automation of the request portion. And then also in terms of responding to reviews, we respond to all your reviews for you automatically. So you don't have to go in there and look at the templates or put it in ChatGPT or anything like that. It's just done, right? And so that's a personalized response using their name, using context from the review. And the last thing we do is we just repurpose those reviews, right? So every time Erica's getting a 5-star review, we're creating social media content with her photos, her logo, her brand colors, and posting it on her Instagram, her Google business profile, and her Facebook. So yeah, that's kind of some of the ways that we are able to save Erica some time and with that automation.
Which is really nice because even with the, like, phone reminders, it's hard to remember to, like, post on social media. It's like it's so daunting, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure. I mean, yeah.
so what happens if you get say if Erica gets a bad review, she gets that one-star review because whatever happened. What happens on your guys'
Yeah.
end?
Yeah, no, that happens. And when I tell people about 1-star reviews is their opportunities. One, that 1-star review is going to add credibility to all of your other 5-star reviews, right? So if you only have 5-star reviews, there's a certain percentage of consumers that are going to be fishy. Some of you listening might be those people, right? Where if you only see 5-star reviews, you're like, this isn't real, right?
Mhm.
And so that 1-star review can add credibility to all those other 5-star reviews. And this also is going to give you an opportunity to show your potential customers how you deal with conflict, right? So when anyone's reading the reviews, most of the time they're going to look at the most relevant, because that's just what pops up automatically, right? The most relevant are going to be popped up immediately. And then if they are, really digging, then they're going to click on sort by lowest, most likely. And then they're going to see your lowest review. And so when they're looking at your lowest reviews, they're worried about catastrophe. They're worried about worst case. They're worried about, is this person going to take my credit card, go put, all the money on black and whatever at a casino and then, leave the country, right? That's what they're worried about. And so when they see somebody had a bad experience, a 1-star experience, and they see Erica or they see the business owner saying, hey, I'm so sorry you had this sort of experience. Please give me a call. Here's my direct personal number. You don't have to put that on Google, but you know what I'm saying. Here's our number. Please call me. Let's make this right. When they see that, it shows the potential customer that, hey, even if things go south, which it looks like it's probably not since we've got hundreds of other 5-stars, even if things go south, they're going to make sure I'm taken care of. And so it's a great opportunity that you can use to, show, kind of ease some of that concern in their mind. And then also last thing is that we do have an option to filter reviews based off of a filter page. How was your experience with Kroopin, Poopin, Scoopin? We don't really recommend that you lose a certain percentage of reviews just because you're adding friction, but we can filter out those bad reviews if it's a big concern of people.
So, say for instance, like what kind of recommendation would you give to the person that they get a negative review and they want to respond back to the person right away because they are angry?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I would say, 24-hour rule. If you are angry, give it 24 hours, right? Like just cool off a little bit. If you're not angry, you're going to have a reasonable response, respond right away. One thing is that if it is like a review from a competitor or like just a spammer or whatever, and it's not legit, don't respond to it, just report it and go through that process with Google, which is just clicking the 3 dots, report review, whether it's off topic spam, what profanity, whatever it is. But if you are hot and you're upset about the review, just take some time. Don't respond like that. Think about your potential customers reading your review. Those people that are reading your review that have never seen you, when they see somebody say, hey, they messed up my yard, they missed a pile, whatever, and you're yelling back at them about, well, your dogs are buttholes and I hate your dogs and whatever it is, whatever they're saying that's mean, that's not going to help you earn business, like period. So it's like, if you can be right or you can be rich, right? So if you want to be rich, don't worry about, oh, your yard's awful and whatever. You lied to me about how big it is and I should be charging 12 times as much. Don't be like that. Just be peaceful.
Yeah, because I do that. I go to people's 1-star reviews and I want to see how they respond. I want to see if it's a generic response because there was this place that I was looking at and all of their 1-star reviews just had a generic copy and paste. Like, I look through my system and I don't see that you ever been a customer here, or sorry you had an issue. Please call this number for customer service. And I'm like, well, they're okay. So they're really not even taking the time to work through this and respond back to the person. And so, yeah, I like that you said kind of take some time and you really should send a personalized message. Like the copy and
For
paste
sure.
just doesn't look good.
For sure. Oh, for sure. And that's like one thing that we actually, by default, we tell people like we don't respond to anything less than anything less than a 4-star review. We don't respond to it by default, just because we want to give the business owner an opportunity to handle that negative feedback the way they see fit, right? And if they don't respond to it for X amount of time, we'll respond to it for them. But yeah, I think you definitely want to get in there, boots on the ground, hands on, and try and make that right. Because when you do have a 1-star, I also think that you don't realize how easy sometimes it can be to flip that 1-star into a 5-star experience. Like if you go above and beyond making things right, they'll become a raving fan of yours, right? Like if you miss a pile and you go back and you sweep it and you pick it up and you do whatever else to go above and beyond, they can become a raving fan that's going to tell their friends about you. Or they're going to tell
I
your
agree.
friends about you.
I got a story about that, but I see that we have 2 people in the chat right now. So I just wanted to talk to
Yeah.
you guys in the chat, well, not in the chat, but watching. If you guys have any questions about reviews or, Google reviews, how to show up more, like online with positive stuff, ask us down in the comments because Clay is going to answer as many questions as possible. Okay. Let's try to make this interactive.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
So let's go to the story. I got a really bad complaint. Like I got a text message from a customer and he used the SHIT word and everything. He's like, did you guys actually clean my yard? I have beep all over my lawnmower. Livid. So responded back immediately and went back and scooped it. I did a rescoop. I texted him. I apologized. I took ownership for it. I think I
Yeah.
took this from Alex Hermosi. I was more mad than he was. I was
Yeah.
more
Angry
mad.
boat.
Yes, and so I went over there, rectified it, and by the next week, he was saying how wonderful our customer service was and that he wanted to put one of our yard signs in his front yard so all of his friends and colleagues and neighbors could use our service.
Exactly. I mean, it's exactly right. I mean, when your customer reaches out about something that they're upset about and you get angrier about it than they are, like Mosey said, like Alex Mosey says that when you just try and minimize them, they don't feel justified. They don't feel like they're not being heard. They don't feel validated, right? But when you go above and beyond and say this is ridiculous, this is unacceptable, I cannot believe that this happened, they kind of back out and they're like, well, it's not that big a deal. I just want it right, So only one person in the angry boat is what he says. So you got to hop in the angry boat and be angrier than they are, so they give out and they're like, it's fine, just come pick it up, and it's no big deal.
Yeah. I had heard that. I watched the video or podcast or whatever, literally like a couple days before, and I was like, how would Alex handle this right now? And so boom, I hit
Yeah.
it. So do you have any other like suggestions or tips to kind of, you know, flip flip the negative review into hopefully something positive?
Yeah, I think what we just touched on, just taking extreme ownership about it, like the last thing you want to do is and also don't blame your employees. That's something I hear all the time too. They say, "Oh, well, my tech out in the field, he can do this." Who hired your tech? You hired them. It's
Mhm.
you own the business. If you're the owner, you're the entrepreneur, you're whatever, you're running the business. All the responsibility comes onto you. Whether your technician did it, whether they went outside the SOP, whatever it is, it's all on you. Don't blame the tech. Take advantage. Take ownership for it. Take ownership for it. Make it right. Go above and beyond. Just a refund. Most times, just a refund or just making it right doesn't cut it. Any way that you can just go above and beyond to really rectify that, I think that's one thing you can do to turn them from a 1-star review to a raving fan that's going to tell everybody tell everyone else about you.
And speed too. Like the quicker you can get back to them, the better because they're hot. Like they don't want to be waiting
Yeah.
till like their next service day. I have a 24-hour turnaround time tops.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we're
No,
gonna
for
be
sure.
out
I
there
think that's right.
immediately. Yeah, for sure. All right, well, cool. So, we're covering I don't know, we cover negative reviews. Hopefully, we're not getting
Mm.
too many of those.
Yeah.
Are does Review Harvest also post reviews anywhere else other than just Google?
Yeah. So, in terms of like capturing reviews on some other places, or in terms of like reposting that content, the Google review content into social media, so I'm like capturing
Um,
reviews on Yelp or Thumbtack or something.
yeah, yeah, I don't really know much about it, so, yeah, how else do
Yeah.
you collect the reviews?
So we always try to emphasize Google first. So Google's going to give you your most bang for the buck for most industries. Most industries you're gonna get way more out of a Google review than anywhere else because of the additional increase in ranking, right? And so consistently getting 5-star reviews on Google is going to help you rank higher. And so that's where we go first. One thing that we do is that we've tested multiple times, and based off of like what we have found with our own tests is that we do not give people an option to leave a review on Google and Yelp and Thumbtack and Nextdoor and Facebook. We don't take them to that sort of page where they can choose, because anytime you're adding any sort of additional step, click, or friction at all between where your customer is and where you want them to be. So in this example, would be like them just living their life and
Mhm.
then leaving you a review. So we're going to bug them with the text and email, and then anything we put in between that text and email and in that review is just going to decrease the conversion rate from what we've tested. And so we take them directly to Google. But what we do is that after they click that link, about 20 or 30 seconds later, we can hit them with a kind of a follow-up that says, thanks so much for taking the time to leave a review. Which one, if we've lost them, if they weren't signed into their Google account, if they've already got distracted, whatever, this is a good way to kind of re-engage them and say, hey, whatever. Because when we're doing our meal donation, we say, hey, thanks so much for taking time to leave a review. We'll donate a meal on your behalf. Right? And they're like, oh, shoot, I didn't finish that yet. Let me do this real quick. And so that can increase the conversion rate as well to get them to do it. But then also we can point them to the next site. So if people want reviews on Facebook or want reviews on Yelp or Thumbtack or wherever, we can point them to the next site that you want those on. What we like to do is we like to point them to Nextdoor to copy that review to the Nextdoor app just as a post. So not as a review, not on, you don't have to have a Nextdoor post page or anything. Just make a post in the neighborhood. People go to Nextdoor for neighborly recommendations. And so they just copy what they said about your business and make it as a post in their Nextdoor group. That seemed, I know that got John Noonan with Region Scoopers. That got him a bunch of business when we did the review reactivation for him.
So for people that don't know what Nextdoor is, can you kind of dive a little deeper into what that is?
Yeah, it's like Nextdoor is, I mean, it's like it's a social media type app, but it's specifically for your neighborhood, right? And so it is like you have to be in that location to join. And so, for example, I'm in the point where I'm located is like the Point Washington area of San Rose Beach, Florida. And so I'm in the Point Washington area. It's not even like citywide, it's like neighborhood wide.
Mhm.
And so people go in there to post about lost cats, and this person did an amazing job on our yard, and this person did our driving cleaning, all that stuff, and people are looking for neighborly recommendations in there. In my experience, Nextdoor ads are not great because they're looking for neighborly recommendations, right? Like they're looking for their neighbor to suggest somebody, not somebody just pay to be in front of them. And so when you do get a couple people to post their 5-star reviews just onto the Nextdoor group, I think John said that one of the posts that somebody made had like 38 comments on it. It had
Wow.
38 comments on the Nextdoor post. And he got a ton of business from that in the beginning.
That's huge, and especially because it's local too, so people are in the community. If they see your branded vehicles, they see you around town, you're creating that, like, brand awareness, and people do business and spend money with people that they trust and know.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's great. I mean, simple marketing is like, where are your ideal customers? And then just go
Mhm.
there.
So, fun fact about that is I wanted to grow out in Northville because there's a lot of HOAs
hmm
out here, and
hmm
I live in Westland. And so it was really
hmm
hard for me to get into like the buy sell trade groups, and I couldn't get into the Nextdoor
hmm
app, like none of it. So I got an office in Northville. So now I have the address and I'm getting into all the groups and all the things.
Nice. Exactly.
Very, very excited. And so, yeah, I love the Nextdoor app. When I first started the business, I posted a lot in there and got a lot of movement. So
Mhm.
I appreciate you bringing that back up because sometimes the Nextdoor can really like fly under the radar.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
no, for sure. And I think that it's just people don't know about it as much right now, and it's a lot bigger in certain areas. Like really out in like a lot of my clients in California, at least that I've talked to, are way more into Yelp and have barely even really heard about Nextdoor very much. Like they're all like, "Oh, I want Yelp reviews in California," but like over here on the East Coast and like in the South, like we know a lot more about the Nextdoor app.
now, okay, let's talk about the different social medias. Like Yelp. When I think of Yelp, I think of which now this kind of makes sense. Old people. Old people have money, so maybe that's where I should be advertising. So let's talk about Yelp more.
Yeah, what I don't like about Yelp is that for the most part, in my experience, when you send people to Yelp review, especially when you're using direct link, there's a good chance that that review comes up as not recommended. So if you go look at Yelp profiles, you'll see a certain amount of reviews. It might say like 6 reviews, and then it'll say 82 not recommended reviews. I don't know how recently they started doing this, but it really kind of hurts because that you don't get credit for all those reviews you send. And so when you're sending them a direct link, it's you're not going to really get credit for that because a good chance it comes up as not recommended. And so, and also Yelp's really bad about like just they're really strict on their whole review policy stuff. And so honestly, Yelp's hard because to really get a review that sticks on Yelp, people are gonna have to go to their Yelp app or go like type in yelp.com and then find you. And then so it's kind of a lot. But
Mm.
but yeah, I mean, I think it really just depends on location and what people use in that area. Just figure out what's big in your city, right? Like if people use Nextdoor, get on Nextdoor. If people use Yelp, get on Yelp. If people are using Angie, whatever it is, just figure out how to get on it. But yeah, none of them really stick out for me as like this is the one that everyone uses, just besides Google. Obviously, like Google is like if you're just on Google and you're just killing it on Google, you're gonna do all right.
Yeah, I mainly focus on Google and Facebook, but for the most part, just
Mhm.
Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Yelp, I need to look up my Yelp. I have no idea what's even going on over there. I'm afraid to
Yeah.
look.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more. We kind of covered the automation part, but for
Mhm.
people like, can you service people that don't have a CRM?
Yeah. So servicing people that don't have a CRM, when you think about it, we're really just taking out anything that was going to happen after you sent the first request, right? So
Mhm.
we are going to automate the follow up. So basically, you're going to have to add the name and number in there manually, whether it's through a CSV file all at once. If you keep track of a spreadsheet, whether they're in your Google Calendar, like if you use a Google Calendar, we can integrate with it. If you use Google Sheets, we can integrate with it. Whatever you use to to keep track of all your bookings or appointments, whatever, we can integrate with it as long as it's has an open API. But if you're just if your checklist, you're like on you just writing everything down, you're going to have to add them manually. And so still do it, but you just add their name and number and it goes and it does all the rest. It sends out the review request, it follows up, it responds to the review, it repurposes the review. So everything after that first just entry of the name and number is automated.
Yeah, and that's why I think having a CRM is really important. I know there's a lot of people that are like, I don't need one. I can operate off pen and paper or Google Doc or whatever. But the CRM is kind of like, it's the hub and it's the base, the foundation for being able to do all these other automations. And I know John, he's doing a crazy amount of automations right now, which
Mhm.
I can't even wrap
Yeah.
my head around it.
Yeah. No, I think that like I mean, I talk to 30 to 40 different small business owners, local business owners a week. And I've done that for almost 2 years. And so I've probably talked to over 1,000 local business owners. And the biggest differentiator for me that I've noticed between the business owners that are very successful and the ones that are struggling is that the very successful ones know how to use a computer and know how to use some sort of software to run their business, whether it's a Jobber, whether it's whatever sort of CRM it is. It doesn't matter what CRM it is. It just matters that you use it. Like that's it. I mean, they can all do pretty much the same thing, right? And so once you actually get used to using one, then learning all the other ones will come relatively intuitive if it's a decent software. And so, yeah, I mean, just in my personal experience, the best entrepreneurs, the ones that are doing well, that are making money, hitting the seven figures and plus, they know how to use a computer and they know how to use a CRM. Like that's so. Eventually, it might be fine at the level you're at now. I mean, just using a spreadsheet, that'll work. But eventually, you're probably going to want something that's going to open up some doors for automation.
Yeah. So, okay, you talked a little bit. You said like the basics of what the successful entrepreneurs are doing. What are some high level things that these really successful entrepreneurs are doing that the other guys aren't?
Yeah, for sure. I would say we talked about this already, but it's just ownership, really. When I hear some of the first words that come out of a business owner's mouth is, well, because of the economy this year, or because the
Mm,
way how things are this year. Like I know I can almost tell you like already that they are not super duper successful. I mean, they might have a business that makes some money and they're fine, but they're probably not happy where they're at. And it's because they're pointing the blame and they're pointing all the power away to other things, external things that they can't control. And so, like, it's so funny to me because the killers that I hop on calls with, that I'm like, that all of a sudden I just have a random call on a Tuesday at 11 a.m. with like a $10 million plus HVAC company or a plumbing company. I'm like, these people never talk about the economy. They're just like, we need to do better. Who cares what it's going? We just need to do better. We need to have better marketing. We need to have better follow up. We need to have better SEO. We need to have better ads. We need to have better operations, better SOPs, all that stuff. And so I'd say the biggest thing is just ownership. And then I think you get into a baseline level of just like, I talk to a lot of people who are really struggling, a lot of businesses are really struggling, and a lot of times they just struggle with basic interactions and just like controlling themselves. Like I'm not trying to like belittle anybody right now. I know it sounds a little harsh, but like I have on calls with people who are like just rude, awful, like very kind of coarse, and then
mhm.
like they tell me they're struggling. I'm like, no wonder you're struggling. Probably every person you talk to thinks you hate them because you're yelling over the phone. Like, just like be a little personable, right? Be try don't be however you're being, be the opposite of that. And so I'd probably say ownership, personable, and like is able to communicate with humans effectively. And then yeah, just I'd say tech, being digitally savvy, figuring out how to use a computer, how to use a phone, how to use a app on your whatever it is. because a lot of times those people who are struggling, they speak things over themselves like, I am not a techie person, or I can't figure out how to use a CRM, or I am this way, I am that way. And like, yeah, of course you're that way, because you've been telling yourself you're that way for the last 5 years and you haven't tried, right? So I would say, yeah, just ownership, or they're able to learn and grow, and then just some basic, basic human interaction skills.
So everything you're
Got
talking
lots
about,
of thoughts on that, huh?
well, yeah, because I have met a ton of people that they struggle in life. There's always a problem. They're the victim, and I've been there
Yeah,
too, where I'm walking around with the chalk in my pocket because I'm the victim,
yeah.
draw a line around me. Everybody's trying to, but in the reality, you have to like take a look at yourself. And if, say, for instance, everybody is a bad person in your story or everybody's screwing you over, you almost have to look inwards and it's like, is everybody else the problem or are you're the common denominator right now? And I think the people that do end up being successful are the ones that are either self-aware or learn how to be self-aware. And I think that was
Mhm,
I was able to break that mind shift change because I became so self-aware, but then it was almost to like almost a detriment where I'm like self-sabotaging myself. So I had to kind of like
mhm.
turn the nozzle down a little bit. I'm like, okay, you don't have to be that critical, Erica. And
Yeah.
then since I've been able to do that, I'm excelling. I'm doing so much better now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think the biggest thing at the end of the day is like you can tell you can be the victim, and you can tell say that your business is failing because all these external circumstances, and you can just say that for the rest of your life. Like you can say that for the rest of your life, and that's just how the way things will be. And when the economy is good, maybe your business grows a little bit, but as soon as it goes down again, then your business is in the gutters, and you're the victim, and your life is miserable. And or you can just say, you know what, I'm done. Like I'm done blaming any external circumstances, because what I always tell myself too is like, sure, there may be some external circumstances like there's lots of competition, or there some our market's saturated, or the economy, but are there things in my business that I know I can improve right now? Right? Like, are there things I'm like, oh yeah, for sure, I can post more content, I can have a better website, I can have a better follow-up process, I could get more reviews. And so until I have improved every single thing about my business that I know, like I've made it as good as I can do to my ability, then like why would you even think about pointing the finger somewhere else? If you know you have things that you need to fix and you're not doing it, just do the work, right?
Mhm.
And then the fact is, once you get everything in your business, which if it ever happens, it's never happened to me. I've never been like, oh, my business is where it needs to be, right? Which if it
Right.
ever happens, then you're like, if you've done everything to the best of your ability, now it's time to go find somebody else who's done it but done it better, and then go learn from them, right? And so really you never need to point the finger elsewhere. Just focus internally on what you can do better, right?
Yeah, and it really kind of goes back to getting those Google reviews and trying to get those 5-star, but it takes all the other stuff to be able to achieve that. You got to be able to deliver good service. You have to be able to show up for your customer, have a smile on your face, all of that stuff and create that good experience for the customer.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, reviews are a back end thing. Reviews come
Mhm.
after you've got customers and you do a good job. Like, but if you don't have customers and you're not doing a good job and they're not happy, then don't worry about the reviews yet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like if I knew a customer wasn't happy when I was doing the manual thing, there I definitely was not going to send them my direct link to give me a review. I'm like, you got to find me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. Well, we're coming up to about 40 minutes here. So if somebody wants to know more about Review Harvest or wants like what other kind of services do you offer? I forgot to ask that.
Yes, we just do Google reviews. So like
Okay.
we are trying to be the best Google review service out there. I think Erica can attest to the fact that we're much more of a service than we are just like a software. Like we want to make sure everything's set up for you. If you have an issue, you can text or email us. We'll make sure it's fixed. And so we're just focused on becoming the best we can be at just getting more Google reviews. And maybe once we know that once we've, like I said, made all those little small improvements that we know we need to make down the line, better reporting sequences, testing more copy every week, whatever it is, then maybe we'll just add some additional services. But for now, it's just reviews, and you can find us at reviewharvest.com, 14-day free trial and 30-day money back guarantee if you're not happy.
What I loved about that is I know nothing about like the back end stuff, and you
Mhm.
you hopped on the Zoom call with me and you walked me through it and like told me what to do, where to
Mhm.
go. And I'm like, thank goodness. Because honestly, if you would have sent me like an email and told me like to walk through it, we probably would not be having this conversation.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And so that's what I really, really liked about, yeah, about the interaction. I'm like, this is awesome. So, sometimes as a business owners, we're like, here we go with the victim. Like, I'm dumb. I can't figure this out. I can't use this. But instead, if you're like, no, I'll walk through it with you. We'll get it figured out. And you were able to take that off my plate, which is really nice.
Yeah, for sure. And that's like one of those things too about like I can complain about how business owners are. Well, if I just send them an email, they're never going to do it. Like, well, I sent them all the information, they never did it. I can complain about like the way human nature kind of is to kick the can down the road and not think they don't know how to do it or whatever. Or we can just provide a one-on-one onboarding call for every single person that hops on board or review harvest and make sure they're set up properly every time. And then we don't have to worry about pointing elsewhere because we can just say, we got to make our calls better. We got to make anything better because we know they're getting set up right the first time. Right. And so
Mhm.
that's, yeah, it's just don't blame, try to point the finger to yourself. It makes it a lot easier.
Well, I think, yeah, you noticed like what a pain point is with like a lot of entrepreneurs have a lot of common traits, right? Like we're so busy, we're in the
Yeah.
field, we don't have time for this, we don't have
Yeah.
time for that. So to even think about sitting down and reading an email and trying to learn something that we're really kind of unsure of anyways, we're like, I don't know,
Mhm.
this is going to take a lot of time. Yeah, you were able to, yeah, just able to take the guesswork out of it, and I'm like, he knows what's up. He knows that having this one-on-one face conversation is how to get the entrepreneurs to, like, slow down so then they can speed back up.
Yeah, for sure.
No, that was cool. Well, I really appreciate you hopping on. For those that are watching this on the replay, I'm gonna go
Mhm.
ahead and I'm gonna include a Clay's links down below. So if you guys want to, give Review Harvest a try, I'd really appreciate it. He's helped so many of us scoopers out. And I love when I'm like following people and I see the little picture pop up. I'm like, I know that's Review Harvest. That's awesome.
Love to see it.
That's all right. Do you have any last words for our viewers?
No last words. I just say just keep pushing, keep waking up every day and getting close to where you want to be and drag those dreams into reality. One day you'll wake up and be like, wow, look how far you've come. And so I hopefully like I feel that way too. I'm like 3 years ago, I would kill to be in my position now. And
Mhm.
now I'm just like, I can't wait till 5 years from now, but just try and love the journey and keep working hard because I do, entrepreneurs, it's a different breed. It's a lonely trait. It's a lonely road. It can be hard. It's like feel like you're getting kicked in the nuts every day, and then one day is amazing, and the next 3 days are kicks and nuts in a row. And so just like keep pushing, keep showing up, and yeah.
So this morning I was actually thinking about that because, like I said, yesterday I had my first live stream. And when I first started
Mhm.
this YouTube channel, I was leaving my hospital job, that I had been at for 14 years. I had gotten off that midnight shift and was driving home and recording just a video explaining what was going on, and it was with an Android phone. It was recorded terribly, bad audio, bopping up and down. But now, 5.5 years later, now I'm doing live streams with folks like yourself, and I'm in a podcast studio in an office in Northville, in a city that a girl from Inkster doesn't go to because we're
Mhm.
really not welcome. Like we don't fit in around here. And it literally just blows my mind. And a lot of people that I talk to, they're like, I want to start a business. I want to do this. And it's like, I understand that. I understand you want to start a business, but it's a journey. It's like you said, every single day, it's something, and you get one good day, and you have to, it's almost like an addiction. Like I'm addicted to the
Yeah.
highs and the lows, ups and the downs. And it's like, if it's a chill day, part of me is like, what kind of chaos can I get into? How can I shake it up?
Yeah. Yeah, things are feeling a little too easy today. What's going on here? What's going on with the universe? It feels a little weird. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like if people are like, oh, I'm tired of my 9 to 5. It's like, oh yeah, come be an entrepreneur. You can trade your 9 to 5 for 24/7. It's the best and worst trade you'll ever make in your life.
I know. Sometimes I think about it when I like look back to that Erica that was just like, I'm just gonna do this and it's gonna be so great. I'm just gonna have all this free time. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I were to go back knowing what I know now, it depends on, like, what day it was, if I would do it again, because there has been some times I went out in the garage once, and I've been pretty chill, but I went out and I kicked a couple things in Josh's garage. This is when I was still operating out of there. I'm
Mhm,
like, "I'm done. Like, I'm done with this business.
mhm.
I'm shutting it
Yeah.
down. I'm ripping everything off of the trucks. Like, this is stupid." And, I don't know, a couple hours later, I was talking about, like, some more business stuff, and he's like, "I thought you were closing up shop." I'm like, "Oh, no." Don't pay attention to that version, Erica.
Yeah, I was just kidding. It was a joke.
Just joking, but I feel like if you don't have those moments, like, you're not really an entrepreneur. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I have walks that I go on almost every day that I just go to just cool off, and then I just, like, lay on my floor sometimes, just, like, bad call, bad couple series of events, just lay there, close my eyes, turn all the notifications off, and just be like, "It's fine." Just yeah, we are only human. Yeah.
Dude, I'm so glad that you said that because I don't have a couch or anything here at the office, and I have my backpack, and I
Mm,
just use that as a pillow, and I just lay on the floor.
yeah,
So
yeah.
funny. Alright, oh, we have a commenter, Cooper's Pooper Scoopers says, "We are only human." Yes.
That's right.
So I do got a question. I know I said I was gonna wrap this up,
Yeah.
but I'll just ask
No,
a
you're
couple more
good.
questions. When
You're
you do
good.
have those bad days, you go for the walk, do you have like, is there a certain amount of time? Is there a set path? Like, do you have your phone with you? We shut it down?
Yeah, normally I don't take my phone with me. I actually have I have a bouncy ball or like a fidget that I'll go and I'll just like go and like play with a fidget. Really just what I try to do is I try to just like step back and just say, yeah, like some bad things. There's been a series of bad events, but then just kind of review bigger picture and try to focus more on facts and unsubscribe to the feelings of the moment. And like, like feelings are, oh, I have so many people texting, emailing about issues, or this isn't working, or this changed, and this is going to ruin my business. And like, no, like there's this one thing that happened and it's not going to ruin the business. And like, I'm feeling a certain way about that, but it doesn't make it true. And so
Mhm.
just kind of unsubscribing from the feelings and just focusing on the facts. And then another thing that like, that it just, I think expectations. Like I used to one of the most valuable things that I learned from Alex Ramosi, probably the most, it was he reset my expectation as to how hard business should be. So when I was growing up in like high school and stuff, all I was doing was watching like how to make 20 grand, how to make 100 grand a month online, how to make 20 grand a month online from these people trying to sell me a course or whatever,
Mhm.
saying it's so easy, you just do this, this, and the other. And as soon as it got hard, I was like, oh well, they said it was supposed to be easy and it's hard for me, so I probably shouldn't do this. You just quit, right? And then you do that over and over and over and over again in all these different businesses. And then I finally found Alex Ramosi like, 3 or 4 years ago. And he was like, business is hard. Like it is supposed to be hard. And if it was
Mhm.
easy, everybody would do it. And so like the harder it is, the better it is, because that means less people are going to be willing to put up with all the hard days. And so as soon as he said that, like I had a good click where it's like, okay, there's going to be hard days, but if you just keep showing up, and then what happens is you have hard days, but you keep showing up day after day, and then like 3 or 4 days later, you have an amazing day, and then you get
Yeah.
reaffirmed you get reaffirmed, you get that feedback loop, like, hey, it was hard. I kept pushing through, and I just continued to show up, even though it was hard, and here this crazy amazing great thing happened just because I kept showing up. And so then you get reaffirmed in it, and then it's like, okay, well, next time things get hard, it's like if I just keep sticking it out, something good's gonna happen. I'm gonna have a good day. Good days will come, and sometimes it might be months before that next good day comes. But if you keep showing up, you'll eventually like just realize that, hey, the longer I stick with it, you only lose if you quit, right? So just keep going.
It's so funny, like, as business owners, like, watching you, like, smile as you're saying, like, "It might be a couple months before a good day comes." I think that way too, and I'm like, "Am I mentally ill?" To, like,
Yeah.
be able to think this way and be okay with it, but it is a I don't know. Yeah, you have to really be into it to be an entrepreneur. It's not get rich quick, and I don't know if you've been watching you're busy, so I'm sure you haven't, but my husband started his own business not too long ago, like a couple
Mhm,
weeks ago.
mhm,
And we started
mhm.
a tree service like very quickly, like within 2 weeks. And so I was able to get like all the fundamentals done, like, you know, the logo and the website and the CRM and everything, all that stuff. But then like I can't teach him how to become an entrepreneur, a business owner
Yeah,
in like 2 weeks. And so he was like getting sick to his stomach and
yeah.
he's like, "It's just so lonely." And and I started laughing, and I feel bad that I laughed at him because he really was in a moment of, like, despair, but I'm like,
Yeah.
"Bro, I this is literally what I've been going through for 5.5 years." And he's like, "I didn't know. I didn't know that you felt this way. You've just been able to keep it so calm." I'm like, "That's why I have a therapist." Literally
Yeah,
a therapist. He's like, "I get it. I totally get it." Um but where was I going with that? But yeah, he sympathizes and he was like, you're able to keep it so calm. And I was like, because it's taken time. I've been able to regulate those emotions because like you were saying, would you say take the emotion out of it, focus on the fact?
yeah, yeah.
When Crystal got into the accident, I was actually
Mhm.
sitting on the toilet and I was like, I got a notification from her and she's like, You need to call me." So I called her. She's like, "Somebody just smashed into me, T-boned me, a hit and run, like the car's totaled." I collected my thoughts. I went out. Josh was with, we were having like a family dinner. We were over at his parents' house. And I said, "Excuse me, we have to leave. We have issues with the car." They're like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Crystal just got into a hit and run accident. And so we need to go pick her up and figure out what's going on." I just kept it very calm, cool, and collected. And Josh was kind of like silent. And he's like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "Yep, I'm good. I mean, what am I going to do? I'm not going to freak out. I have insurance. Crystal's okay. And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, I'm prepared. I have an extra vehicle. So we're going to be all right." If that would have happened to Erica, I don't know, let's say 5 years ago, I would have been like, "That's it. It's done. Shut the business down. I can't do this anymore." And
Yeah,
so
no.
what kind of like what's something that happened in the beginning of your business that like where you had like a major meltdown that if were to happen now, like you'd be like, it's not even a big deal.
Yeah. Um, one thing for me was like, I mean, it was recently, but like Jobber dropped their review thing, and they dropped their review thing, and I knew that like what we had was better. I knew that for a fact, but I knew that also like a good amount of our customers use Jobber, and so in my mind, I'm like, it might just be easier for them to do that. Like, I know I'm going to get them more reviews. I know I'm going to give them better results because of all the additional automation and the personalized images and donating meal to Feeding America. Like, I know that as like a fact, but I still was really concerned, and like the feelings of that day, like I was like, well, I'm gonna need to provide SEO services to differentiate myself, or I'm gonna need to, write blog articles for people, or I'm gonna need to do ads for people, or whatever. And I just like freaked out, It's like spent like a week, but like in that time, like my wife is so good about this. She's just like, just stop. Just like keep doing exactly what you're doing and just think about it. You can write, you can journal about it, you can pray about it, you can go on a long walk about it and think about it the whole time, but like you're not changing anything. So just keep showing up. And then like a week or two later, I'm like, wow, none of my clients that had Jobber, not a single one of my clients that had Jobber even texted or emailed me about it. I might talk to John about it because John and I are just like buddies like that. We're always talking about stuff, but it was not like I'm gonna stop, And so like, wow,
Yeah.
that was crazy. And so I think like it's just showing up and then like unsubscribing from the feelings and just focusing on the facts and just say, hey, your feelings are not the facts, and you just focus on the feelings. um but yeah, no, it's hard. I mean, entrepreneurship is very hard. So I think having the right expectation going into it, like, hey, this is going to take a while. Like, this is going to take a while. And one thing that happened the other day was so funny to me. I was talking to a guy he's got his license to be a pilot. He's just trying to get all the hours in, become a commercial pilot, right? And he's like, yeah, it's going to be 3 years. He's like, oh, it's only going to be 3 years. He actually used the word only 3 years. And as entrepreneurs, as the people that control everything in the business and like everything relies on us and we take all that ownership, we think that in our mind that we're superhuman. And when we make our expectations, we think that we can just drag whatever goals to whatever time frame. Like, we're like, well, in 3 years, to me, 3 years seems forever. But when
Yeah.
you like almost remove some of that control sometimes, and like he cannot control how long it takes him to get his hours to become a commercial pilot. So for him, it's like, it's only 3 years. And I'm like, the peace that you get for that. And so if you can kind of take some of that and run through business, like when I really started focusing and like stopped being distracted and like really started making progress, going from like 20 clients in a marketing agency to 100 clients at Review Harvest, was like when I told myself, I was like, this is going to take 10 years. This is going to take a decade for me to get any sort of substantial like value or any sort of life change thing. And you know what? It might take 5 years, and that'd be amazing. But in my mind, it's probably going to take 10 years. I'm probably going to be 32 years old and still doing the same exact thing. And that's fine. And so just like resetting that expectation has allowed me to show up every day, even when it's bad, and say, it's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to take time. And I'm heading in the right direction. I know it. If you just look at the facts, and if the facts say that you are heading in the right direction, no matter how slowly it is, just keep showing up.
Dang, that was some fire. I think that's a good way to close it out. Dude,
Yeah.
I love how young you are, how passionate you are, how you just like you give to the community, and you're so personable. I haven't met a lot of like techie guys that are like personable like you. Usually they're very like cut and dry.
Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Like I swear my accountant, he's not really techie, but he's a number guy. I think he hates
Yeah.
me. I really do. I think he just hates my guts. And I asked him, I said, "Do I bother you?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Oh." He's like, "Why?" I'm like, "I don't know. Every time I call you, you just seem so bothered." He's like, "That's just my
Yeah.
personality." I'm like, "Okay. Okay."
Great. Yeah, like, and that's fine. It's someone who's like, yeah, you can have that personality. Like, what are you optimizing for? If he's just optimizing for, I'm going to live the way my life, and I'm just going to let my life be what my life's going to be, then sure, do that. If you want to make more money, it's crazy what being a little personable can do for you. You know, it's like sometimes all it is adding an exclamation point to the end of the text, right? It's just like instead of a period, or just like it's adding an exclamation point or just one emoji. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it can be simple.
I like the way my taxes look, so that's why I keep rolling with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
As long as those keep looking exciting and great, we're good.
Yeah,
All right,
for
well,
sure.
cool. We're at 56 minutes. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to, hang out with me and hang out with the community.
For sure. Thanks for having me. It was a great time.
All right, I appreciate it. All right, we'll chat soon, okay?
All right. See you,
Bye.
Erica.